truck driver and a carpenter, and they struggled, you know, all the time. My dad worked long hours, and I said, well, I'm going to get a job there. Well, my mom, well, you're only 13 years old. Well, you know, what are you going to do? I'm going to get paper route. And this back in the day, you know, you guys probably don't even remember when paper boys used to deliver papers to the house. And but I went there. She said, okay, I mean, I'll take you down to the place where you sign up for a paper route, but I'm not going to pave your way. I'm not going to go up there and convince you. You're going to have to do this on your own. My mother drove me down to the you know, the house where the guy was in his garage and passing out paper routes. And then back in that day, if you had like an 80 paper route, that was a pretty good sized route. There was a lot of weight to carry 80 papers up and down early in the morning and throw them out of your back. Well, the guy, you know, looks down at me, and all the boys were tall. My mother to this day describes that when she saw me standing in line to get that paper out, you know, she was just crying because she realized that, you know, that my boy, you know, is not going to be able to get this paper out, or not going to be able to succeed at this. But she kept all those feelings to herself. And so I got in line, and again, I was very bold. I told the gentleman, I got to my turn, I looked up at him and I said, you know, can I help you? And I said, yeah, I want a paper route. He goes, oh, you do? He goes, well, how are you going to deliver the paper route? I deliver the papers. I said, I got a plan. I got a plan on how to do it. Well, how many papers do you want to deliver? And again, it was 80 papers was a good sized route. I got 150 papers. Again, I bit off just more than I could chew. And that was going to be a big bite to swallow. He goes, all right, well, I'll give you the paper route. We'll see how you do, and I'll check in. You check in with me in a couple of weeks. I remember the first day those papers arrived, and I couldn't even budge them. There were so many, I couldn't even physically move them. And I thought, oh no, what have I gotten myself into? You ever had that feeling before? I thought, what have I gotten myself into? But I managed to, I couldn't drag them into the house where it was warm to fold them. I had to fold them right out on the sidewalk. I folded them up, and I realized, I put them in my paper bag. I realized I could only get like 10 papers in at a time and pedal down to where my route started and throw them out and go back because there was so much weight. I had a little bike that I had customized by this time. And I said, I'm going to have to rig up. And again, I was good at building. I had been building forts and go-karts and even motorized. I was even welding at this time. So I rigged up this motor. I took apart another one of my dad's lawnmowers and rigged up this three-wheel car that had a motor. I spent a couple of days building this thing. I'd actually had it before, and I sort of modified it with a bigger motor to be able to handle the weight of the paper route. And I built a little trailer that would go behind it to hold all the papers. And my first day out with my new gizmo, my little machine that would motorize me down so that it could handle all the weight. Of course, the cops stopped me. And you can't ride that thing on the, you know, on the sidewalk and deliver those papers. You know, it's a motorized vehicle, essentially. You know, it's like a little go-kart. And, you know, that day I came home and, Dad, the cops stopped me. They're not letting me do my route. You know, and he goes, well, you know, this is your thing. You have to get into it. So instead of just sulking and feeling sorry for myself and being defeated again, I'm exercising that muscle of resiliency, and I go in and I say, I make him go talk to the police chief. He goes, well, you know, I told him, you go talk to, you help me out, you come in with me. And, no, you go do it. I did it myself. I'm 13 years old, and I'm making an appointment with our local police chief who I'd never met before. And he took my meeting, and I went in there, and I said, you know, my name is Matt Roloff. I have a paper route, and I want to deliver it, but I'm going to need this thing. He said, okay, Matt. You know, we can't let anybody do that, but I'll tell you what, we're going to make an exception. If the rules are that you know, can't use it after, you know, only for your paper route. If we catch you riding on the street, you know, then we're going to confiscate it and be done with it. So there I was again, 13 years old, negotiating, you know, negotiating for my future. And taking life into my own hands and realizing that nobody else is going to come handle my dreams and my aspirations. I have to go get them myself. And I'm not going to get them by feeling sorry for myself, sitting on the couch watching TV, or in this day and age playing video games like my kids love to do. I'm going to have to go out and get things and achieve things and make appointments and do things on my own in order to live that extraordinary life and in order to thrive and not just survive.
Hi, I'm Courtney Wilmoth from ROC-TV, and I'm here with Matt Roloff from Little People Big World. Hi, Matt.
Hi there, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm great. Glad to be here in Radford.
So I have some questions for you.
Sure.
How do you hope your speech will change how college students cope with diversity among their campuses?
Well, I would hope just at least just one person in whatever crowd, even if just one person, might have a little bit more open mind towards inclusion and acceptance of people that are different than I, then I've accomplished my mission. If there's more than one, that's even better.
In what ways would you spread the acceptance of diversity among Radford University?
I'm sorry, in which way?
Yes, in what ways would you?
Beyond coming and talking to the university, I think all students can listen in just one little action at a time and one little thought at a time. They can change the entire university. So if enough students are here and they can be more inclusive or more acceptance for people that are different, and reach out to somebody just one time at one party or at one event, and if everybody did that, it would be a powerful transformation.
In your opinion, how do you think your show has affected your life and the lives of your family?
Well, it's affected my life. It's been just kind of a wild ride, and it's certainly opened our eyes. We've got a lot of opportunity to meet different people from all walks of life. But more importantly, I think that it's helped for society in general to understand more about little people and people that are different. And hey, if they can get their head around somebody who's a little person, just being a regular family with problems and bumps and bruises, and we have our triumphs and tribulations and the kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly, then they can get their head around anybody that's different, providing some sense of value in the world and in the society. And I think people look at our family and they can realize, wow, he could be successful and go off and do great things. If people can look at everybody that's different in a more positive light, then we've accomplished our goals.
Who is your inspiration, and who do you think your kids should look toward as a role model today?
Definitely not towards me. No, I think my inspiration has always been my father. He's been real inspiring to me, just the way he's raised us and the way he's had a positive outlook, and of course my mother as well. And I hope my kids, they spend a lot of time with their grandma and grandpa, my folks, and I think that they're going to draw inspiration from various sources like we all do. It's not just one person. Sometimes it's an array of people that inspire you in your life.
How do you expect your children to be role models when adapting to diversity?
My children?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that the fact that they have parents that are different. All kids, look at diversity different, and certainly we talk to our kids a lot about it, and they have a diverse group of friends. We, lived in a different era. We lived in San Francisco, raising them, so we were built into a very, very diverse community. In my high school, everybody was different, and whether it be ethnically or disabilities, and we had all kinds of different disabilities and skin color. In Oregon, it's a little different than that, so we have to work extra hard in making sure that our kids are appreciative of the diverse nature of our society.
What would you tell people who have experienced the challenges of diversity, and how would you help them cope?
Well, I think my main message about that is to not be too hypersensitive, is what we call it. Every once in a while somebody's going to slip up and use a term or a name or a phrase or something that isn't appropriate. And when people use a name like shorty or midget or whatever, I can't take it personally. I can't be oversensitive, because that creates a sense of people being fearful to be around you because they're, I don't want to say the wrong thing. And that's a very big problem amongst groups of diverse individuals, is that they're hypersensitive, and we have to try to say, it's a two-way street. You need to, grow some thick skin and not be hypersensitive. At the same time, people need to work harder to come together and understand what is it that is an area of sensitivity, and where can we join together and bridge the gaps.
And this is the last question. How is your life affected by diversity?
Well, I think my life, being a little person and being different than the vast majority of society has always given me sort of a different perspective. My folks have reinforced that when we were very young. We had refugees from Vietnam come and live in our house, and obviously that's a very, very different culture. So when you have 8 people that have come off of a boat and escaped a war-torn country, it gives you an open mind at a very early age. I wish every family had the chance to do it. I've had a chance to go into Iraq a couple of times, 3 times, and work with a family there, and realize that even though they're different religion than we are, and they're different skin color, and they talk different, they eat different food, that we all really do have common ground. We're out there to try to live life to the fullest and do our pursuit of happiness, as we say in our Constitution. So I think that's what's important, is realize what's common and not what's different.
Well, thank you, Matt, and thank you for your time.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me out here. I appreciate it.